You know, digital transformation is a term we hear all the time, right? But it's way more than just a buzzword. It's a total rewiring of how entire countries operate. And today, we're diving into Brazil's huge ambition to navigate this new digital world, a plan that was born right at the crossroads of some serious challenges and some really smart solutions.
So that brings us to the big question, really. How on earth do you digitally transform a country that's literally the size of a continent? It's one thing to talk about a digital government, but when you're dealing with a nation like Brazil, we're talking vast, remote regions and over 200 million people. The scale is just mind-boggling. And look, if you get this right, the payoff is immense. We're talking about a government that's faster and more responsive, an economy that can truly compete on the global stage, and just making daily life easier for every single citizen. But as you can imagine, the road to get there is never, ever a straight line.
Okay, so before we can even talk about the solution, we've got to really dig into the problem. Back in 2023, a major academic review took a really hard look at Brazil's public sector. It was like a full diagnostic, pinpointing the exact hurdles that were holding back its digital future.
And what they found was this fundamental tug of war. I mean, look at this. On one side, you have these powerful forces, these drivers, pushing for change. People are demanding more transparency, better services. But on the other side, you have these massive barriers pulling in the complete opposite direction.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole issue. The single biggest reason people want to go digital is for a more open, accountable government. But, and this is a huge but, the number one reason organizations push back is the fear of data leaks and privacy violations. This tension, this friction right here is the central puzzle Brazil has to solve.
So the review basically boiled it all down to 4 huge interconnected roadblocks. And think about it, it's like a chain reaction. You can't have a digital nation if you don't have the physical internet infrastructure. But even if you build that, it's totally useless if people can't afford it or just don't know how to use it. And even if you fix those 2 things, if your government systems can't talk to each other and your citizens don't trust you with their data, well, it's a total non-starter. Each problem just feeds the next one.
And if you're wondering why this matters so much, well, let's just talk about the money for a second. The projections were absolutely staggering. A successful digital economy could make up over a quarter of Brazil's entire GDP. This isn't just about convenience, it's about unlocking a massive wave of national prosperity.
All right, so you've got this giant list of problems. The country's staring down these huge hurdles. What do you do? Well, the Brazilian government came up with a response, a comprehensive blueprint designed to tackle them head-on called the e-digital strategy.
Now, e-digital, this wasn't just some dusty policy paper that sits on a shelf. No, it was designed from the ground up to be a coordinated, national mission. The goal was to get the entire government on the same page, to turbocharge the economy, and to give every citizen the tools they need to thrive. And we're not talking about some high-level, fuzzy vision here. The plan is incredibly detailed. We're talking 100 specific, actionable strategic initiatives. It's a real, honest-to-goodness, step-by-step guide from making this change happen.
And the logic behind the whole strategy? It's actually pretty brilliant and refreshingly simple. Step 1, you build the foundation. It's like building a house. You need the plumbing, the wiring, the solid ground first. So that means infrastructure, security, and education. Only after that foundation is solid do you move to step 2, actually using it to transform the economy and the government. You gotta walk before you can run.
Okay, so we've laid out the problems, and we've got the government's shiny new plan. But here's the million-dollar question. Does the plan actually fix the problems? Let's put them side by side and see.
Okay, let's start with challenge number 1. Remember that infrastructure gap we talked about? This massive country with all these remote areas just didn't have the digital highways, that high-capacity backbone that you need for modern society.
So, how does e-digital tackle this? Well, it goes right for the jugular. A core part of the strategy is a direct order to physically build out those digital highways, expanding fiber optic networks on the ground, and pushing out mobile broadband coverage to reach every last corner of the country.
All right, next up is a challenge that's not about cables or towers. It's about people. You had a huge chunk of the population stuck on the wrong side of the digital divide. Either they had no access, or they just didn't have the skills to be part of this new digital world. And the plan's response here is really smart. It's a 3-pronged attack, if you will. First, you get the access there, connecting thousands upon thousands of schools. But then, and this is crucial, You change how kids learn by baking computational thinking right into the curriculum. And finally, you make sure the current workforce isn't left behind with lifelong learning programs. It's the whole package.
And that brings us back to that fundamental problem, that core tension we talked about earlier, trust, or really a lack of it. That academic review found this deep-seated fear about the security of digital platforms, and it was acting like a giant brake on the whole system.
So, eDigital's answer to that fear is to build something solid, to replace it, structure and trust. It directly mandates creating a formal national cybersecurity policy. And this isn't just a promise. It's about building a real institution responsible for coordinating security across the board, setting clear rules, and finally creating a digital space that people can actually believe in.
So, there you have it. Brazil has a crystal clear diagnosis of what's wrong and a super detailed blueprint for how to fix it. But, creating the plan is one thing. Actually executing it, well, that's a whole other journey.
And the motivation to actually get this done? Oh, it's huge. We're talking about an estimated $115 billion being added to Brazil's economy. Annually, every single year. That's not chump change. That is a national game changer. The potential here is just off the charts.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about getting faster internet or a new government app. It goes so much deeper than that. This is a national mission. It's about connecting citizens, creating a truly modern economy, and building a government that people can actually trust in a digital age. So Brazil has the map. And let's be clear, the technology to do all this, it's already here. That's not the hard part. The real question is something else entirely. Is this whole transformation a test of technology, or is it really a test of national will? Is there enough long-term commitment to navigate the tough road ahead and actually reach the destination?